Hey family, what's up? It's Jay Morrison, aka Jay Mr. Real Estate, Mr. Ask Jay himself. And I was going through my files and I did a video on some homebuyer tips. And there was another sheet in my file from like years ago of a lot of information that I was creating with my mom. We had a housing counseling agency together called No Home Left Behind Foundation. And this is pretty good. This is recommendations for avoiding foreclosure. So I wanted to share them with you in case anyone's going through foreclosure or may face foreclosure one day. Here's some recommendations for avoiding foreclosure. I'm gonna just run through it, right? It's 10 of them, but I just wanna give you guys this information, right? So one of the first things, it says, do what it takes to pay your mortgage and avoid becoming 3 months behind. If you fall behind 3 months, foreclosure proceedings will start. The credit card and non-other essential bills are not priority. And that's going to be the tone of this whole 10-part list, actually it's 11, excuse me, is that if you're facing foreclosure, you got to prioritize that on your financial, your household, like everything. So you got to make up your mind, do you want to keep the house and do you want to make that work, or do you want to keep the Best Buy card, the Victoria's Secret card, or the Amex, or your other bills? So if you're strapped for cash, if income's low, you gotta make a decision whether the house is more important than the roof over your head, or the value of the house, or your other bills, right? So something's gonna have to go. You can't try to do everything if you're in that situation. And when you get 3 months behind, banks are starting the foreclosure proceedings like ASAP. Number 2, prepare an honest budget, thinking of everything you spend money on and all income to determine what you can cut back on. So if you don't have a proper budget or a proper budget Excel sheet or don't know how to do one, I want to suggest you guys go to jmorrisonacademy.com and get your free Wealth DNA kit. In the Wealth DNA kit, there's a daily budget, a weekly budget, a monthly budget, a financial analyzer, a bunch of other stuff, but most importantly, you need the budgets. So make a true budget for yourself and an honest budget for yourself and see what it is that you can cut back on out of your expenses, right? 3, cut back on all non-urgent spending, repairs, expenses, so you can pay the mortgage. So if there's like, you know, that one little trim you want to do, or that room that needed some carpet or some other kind of repairs in the house that are non-urgent, they gotta wait. You got to prioritize your expenses in order for you to save your house. There's no point in fixing the floors or even a leak if you're not going to keep the house. So you got to make those smart and wise decisions. 4, call the banks that you have accounts with to see if they can help you with a new mortgage. Now this might be difficult because you're now, in pre-foreclosure, but I would make the extra effort to call banks, small banks, credit unions, and other banks to see if there's enough equity in your house for them to refinance you and get you a new mortgage at a lower payment. All right. 5, consider turning off the cable, internet, cell phones temporarily. Hey, if your 7-year-old kid, your 10-year-old kid all got cell phones and you got cable in every room and all these extra luxury expenses, but you're in foreclosure or facing foreclosure, you might want to consider downsizing a lot of the extra expenses again. 6, consider renting a room in your home after doing a background check and credit history. Find a tenant. Find a tenant that possibly can bring in some extra income in one of the rooms in your house. Check them and vet them thoroughly to make sure you don't got a cuckoo staying with you, but maybe family, a friend, or just a stranger, but you may have to take that route of renting something out in order to do so. And I'm going to add, I don't think it's here, you may even want to rent out your garage or anything else you can do to bring in some extra income. You want to consider those things. 7, consider selling the newer cars for a used one or using one car if more than one is owned. So you guys got a bunch of cars, you got to downsize. You got to make tough and smart financial decisions and be disciplined if keeping your house is your priority. And if you got a newer car and it's killing you, you might just got to downsize. You might got to get something less new for the time being and bounce back. 8, utilize the food bank. This one, when I saw it, I was like, man, I don't want to say that. But the reality is, if your income has downsized and you guys are struggling and you can't pay your mortgage, you may want to consider government programs, philanthropic programs that can get you free food. Instead of paying money for food, you can save that money and put it towards your mortgage. You got to make the tough decisions. I've received food from food banks before. I've received clothes from Goodwill before. Like I've been homeless before. No one's too big for anything. This is life. And we got to deal with it. We got to make the smart decisions to bounce back in life. 9, check with your church, mosque, temple to see if there are any discretionary funds to assist with making a payment or two and or a loan. See if your place of worship or any kind of civic group you're a part of can loan you money or make a payment for you. Not even a loan. Hey, can you help me? Just can you pay 1 month or 2 so I can get some breathing room? Right? So check in with the groups that you support all year and for years round. 10, consider borrowing money from family. Sometimes you got to make that call. You got to go ask family, can they support and help you because you're in a bind, you're in a crunch. And that's just something you got to swallow pride. And again, you got to swallow pride in downsides, you got to swallow pride in ask sometimes. A closed mouth does not get fed. And then 11, consider having a garage sale and sell some of the items you do not use. You got to liquidate. You probably got a bunch of DVDs and Xboxes and PlayStation 6s and Jordans and everything else in there. Hey, the house about to go, these things got to go. So you got to make tough decisions in order to sacrifice, in order to save your property. Now I want to say lastly, it's not on the sheet, I want to say lastly is as a 12th tip for considering strategies while in foreclosure, is that if you know it's going down a foreclosure road, there's nothing you can do about it. Do not just walk away from the house and just leave it and go rent somewhere, go stay with family, and you just do nothing with the house. That's the last thing that you do. One of the first things you do is if you know you can't pay the mortgage anymore, stop paying the mortgage and save your money. One, I would do all these things and save your money, right? Liquidate, downsize, borrow if you have to, and save money for your next move. Already chalk, I want to write my board now. Already chalk it up that, you know what? We're hit, we got to go to plan B, next strategy, next move. So downsize, start saving money, but before you just leave the house and walk away, the money you would be spending on a mortgage, save that for your next property. You're going to get foreclosed on anyway. There's no point in throwing that money away. Save it and put it towards your next move. If you're going to leave the property and go stay with family or go rent somewhere or go do another move, rent the property out. While you're in foreclosure, you can still rent your property. It's still yours. The bank does not take possession of it until it's actually foreclosed on. And that could take 8 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 10 years. So receive income from the property while it's in foreclosure and I got this from my rich friends. Like my rich friends, when they all got caught in the down market and they had properties, they still rented them out and brought in all the rental income until it got foreclosed on. Why just do what many of us do in the minority community and just walk away and leave it and say what the hell with it and don't get anything out of it when you could have received rental income from it? And don't be worried, that tenant in most states will still have the right to stay there once the bank takes over or a new owner takes over. They'll still have to respect that tenant's rights and that tenant's lease. So you can still be bringing in rental income while your property's in foreclosure and use that rental income to go towards what really is your best move. Liquidate, move with family or move somewhere else and rent your property that's in foreclosure or going into foreclosure, rent it out, bring in that rental income and use it towards your other property or towards your savings so that you can make a better strategic move moving forward. So those are my 12 tips and 12 things to consider when facing foreclosure. And this is me, J. Mr. Real Estate Morrison. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, J. Mr. Real Estate TV. Like this video, you should, it's pretty good information. Comment below and share it on your social medias, email, text, whatever. And I don't know. Go to jmorrisonacademy.com for your free wealth DNA kit though. You need that. Get your mind right. Your wealth habits, your wealth disciplines, wealth non-negotiables. You need that in your life, especially if this video is of relevance to you and you're facing a foreclosure situation. All right, peace.